With Mafia 4 around the corner, I felt that it was better that we covered one of the best video game trilogies, or overlooked, underrated video game trilogies of all time, the Mafia series. And one of those games that I'm choosing to cover, because nobody else really wants to cover it like that, because of the foul language and the racism and all the stereotypes that's involved in the game, is Mafia 3. Now, for those who are new to the channel, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. And for those who are not new, then you already know you're good, you're subscribed, you're good, so I don't have to hurt you. But if you're tuning in and you don't subscribe or you don't like the video, then we're gonna have to have some problems, okay? We're gonna have to have some problems. But I am gonna leave the link to my other channel in the description. But today we're going to be talking about the man other than himself, the main protagonist of Mafia 3, the Vietnam War veteran who started his own criminal empire while seeking revenge after the Marcano crime family, after they done him wrong as well as his people wrong. We're talking about the man himself, Lincoln Robinson, aka Jackknife Johnson, aka Godzilla, aka Who Dat Boy. We talking about the man himself, the one-man band, the army man himself, Lincoln Clay. Lincoln Clay was born in January of 1945. His mother was Dominican, and his then mentor, Father James, believes his father was an Italian, but very little else is known about his mother or his father. But it is documented that his mother abandoned him in 1947, where he came into the care of the St. Michel's orphanage in the French ward of New Bordeaux. That is where he would meet his then mentor, Father James. Father James had just come in from the war from years prior, had came in to help the young boys in the orphanage as they were all looking for a home. And Father James himself kept an eye on Lincoln until the time the orphanage closed down in 1958. And that would be the time where Lincoln would be taken in by black mob leader of New Bordeaux, Sammy Robinson, and his then lovely wife, Perla, along with their biological son, Ellis, who all became like family to him during a time where he was searching for family. During Lincoln's teen years, it's really unclear or unsaid of what was going down when he was a young boy, but it is clearly noted that him and Ellis got into a lot of reckless activities while still coming of age in New Bordeaux, dealing with racism, dealing with living in poverty, dealing with, other mobs like the Haitian mob, dealing with a lot of problems that their father was dealing with. So it's not really a surprise of what kind of activities they were both into when they were young. It is speculated that they were involved in criminal activities and that Perla, Sammy's wife, would not be fond of it. And unfortunately, it's unclear or unsaid of when she would pass away, but Perla, Sammy's wife, would pass away, which left the family at a hard tribulation in their life. The home was not the same after that, but they still continued on.
Boys like Lincoln, ones who've been abandoned, they're always looking for a home, always looking for a place to belong. I think he thought he'd find it in the army.
Due to Perla's passing, Lincoln himself started searching for an identity. And like anybody else searching for themselves with nowhere else to go, or any other plans for themselves, Lincoln decided that it would be better for him to join the Vietnam War in 1964. Now, prior to joining the war, it has been speculated over the years that part of the reason why Lincoln joined the Vietnam War was because he was most likely to be involved in an attempted lynching, as well as the involvement in the murder of corrupt police chief Wilson. Now, the case was never continued forward because they never found who did it, but rumors over the years have speculated that Lincoln was involved. And I personally would think that Lincoln had every right to do what he did if it's actually true, because back in those times, you could be black and you could just be walking down the street and still get attacked by a racist mob for just simply being black. And I'm sorry for making this about race, but it's the truth, especially telling this story. I know anybody's going to get offended by this, but it's the truth. And what also made Lincoln leave was just to find himself, as well as just to get away from the racism that was currently happening with his block radius, despite racism being everywhere he was going to during the time. But while in the military in the Vietnam War, he served in the 23rd Infantry, and he would later be recruited into the Special Forces Group, or the 5th SFG. In April of 1966, he was then assigned to a covert operation where he would then meet CIA operative John Donovan. And for those who are familiar with who John Donovan is, he's against communism heavy. And communism, anti-communism played a lot during his time during the late 60s. And also, he's the one who recommended Lincoln to be part of his covert operation, because both of them saw each other a lot, and also they would begin to bond a lot over just similar experiences from their past of growing up. And they became like brothers in a sense. Due to his time in the Army, Lincoln became very proficient with a variety of military-grade firearms, from explosives, light machine guns, grenade launchers, hell, even being an expert in stealth tactics and infiltration, quietly sneaking up on his enemies undetected before ever finishing them off. And he was also, like men of the time, trained in psychological warfare, and it would be displayed by how he would finish off his victims. He would leave their corpses outside of a public area to spread the fear among his enemies. And Donovan mentions that Lincoln learned such tactics from their time with the CIA. So Lincoln was literally a one-man band, an unstoppable force.
It's hard to explain what it's like coming home from war. Elation, fear, guilt. Imagine being trapped in a dark room and there's no way out. And every fear, every nightmare you ever had is in that room with you. And there's no escape from any of it. And then one day, a door opens and you're free to go. Just like that. The thing is, you made your peace with your terror and your fear of death. And now part of you is afraid to leave it behind. But what choice do you have? Every soldier has to walk through that door, one way or another.
Upon being discharged from the military, he then returns back to New Bordeaux, Louisiana, where he is then reunited with his brother Ellis and his father figure Sammy Robinson. This is where Lincoln comes to learn about the depths in the situation the Haitian mob has with Sammy, as he learns to know that his father figure Sammy is in debt with Sal Marcano, and the Haitian mob has put a hit on Sammy, as they were causing Sammy to lose profits from the black lottery. Following Lincoln's time of wanting to help aid his family, Lincoln goes after the Haitian mob himself and kills their supposed leader Baca. After killing Baca, he then meets with Sal Marcano. While meeting Sal suggests that Lincoln take Sammy's place, as he feels as that Sammy is getting too old for his old mob business. Lincoln refuses the offer and tells Sal that he looked out for him when nobody else was willing to look out for him, and he owes his loyalty to Sammy. Sal was really hurt by Lincoln's words, but he understood, and instead, he told Lincoln to work with Georgie, his son, as they were planning to rob the Federal Reserve. Despite the successful heist turning out, Sal then betrays not only the black mob, but also his old partner in crime, Sammy. And of all Lincoln's friends, he's killed them all. Ellis and Danny Burke. With Lincoln being shot in the head and left for dead, which explains the scar on his head, bars, Lincoln is then aided by his mentor, Father James, during the fire at Sammy's bar, and rescues him and nurses him back to health. During the recovery, the nation kind of falls on short hands with the murder of Jack Kennedy and the murder of Dr. Martin Luther King. Before Lincoln is actually fully recovered, he actually tells Father James to call John Donovan, for assistance, who agrees to use his resources to take on the Marcano crime family. Lincoln sets out not only to kill Sal, but to also just decimate his whole operations and anybody that's involved with him, anybody he's dealt business with over the years, to take them all out. And all the while, he can build a family of his own to take over New Bordeaux. While taking down the Marcano crime family, Lincoln gains the alliance of the real Haitian mob boss Cassandra and Irish mob boss Thomas Burke, as well as gaining the alliance of the former Mafia 2 protagonist Vito Scaletta, and all band together to take down Sal and his former associates, as well as his current associates, by taking over their districts, killing underbosses, and as well as taking over the family branch. And this all can be, decided on by the player, while each member of the crew that's getting the most districts. And if you do give the one person more districts, then you're gonna end up with another member of your crew wanting to betray you. But we'll get into that later. In addition to this, Lincoln also aids the Laveau movement to stop Walter Slim Beaumont, who's a corrupt officer in St. Clair Parish, as well as Lincoln aids his friend John Donovan to kill his old friend Connor Aldridge from using a warhead, and to also dissolve the Ensanglante movement that's happening, as well as a few couple towns over in New Bordeaux with its leader Bonnie. In October of 1968, Lincoln had killed all of the Marcano crime family members, taking their assets and killing off their associates. I'm saying that right. After Sal's death at the casino that he promised to build for the city and for the new world of New Bordeaux, he is then greeted by Leo Galante, who we have previously seen in Mafia 2 and heard mentioned throughout the game of Mafia 3. He urges Lincoln to end his crusade on the city, and as long as he gets the 20% he was promised, he will be happy. And upon returning to Father James and Donovan, Lincoln is given 3 choices for his next move, which is to either walk away from New Bordeaux to leave everything behind that's been going on within the city, or he can seize power of the city by killing all of his underbosses that helped get him to where he got to, or rule the city by himself. Well, not by himself, or rule the city with his new underbosses and to become the philanthropist that he always wanted to be. Now, the thing that's also significant about Mafia 3 is that you're given 3 different choices to actually choose from. And the storyline actually plays out differently each time you choose a different ending of the story. So let me break down the story, like each of the endings for you. Sorry for the stuttering, but let me break down the endings for you. If Lincoln chooses to rule alone, he also murders his underbosses, which also prompts Father James, who now realizes that Lincoln is no different than Sal, and that there's always going to be another Sal Marcano. There's always going to be another Lincoln Clay more than a Jack Kennedy, a JFK, or Martin Luther King. And the one thing that Father James would do in response to Lincoln's crusade would be planting a bomb underneath Lincoln's car. Now, I don't know where he would get the bombs from, but my guess he would probably get it from John Donovan or somebody from the military he used to be in with. Who knows? But also Father James states that he has no regrets for killing Lincoln, but feels that Lincoln's spirit is always watching him, especially for after what he did, often stating that he hears heavy boots go on the stairs and waiting to see what's going to be left, as if Lincoln's going to come back and take his life for him killing him. The other option is to rule together with the underbosses. If Lincoln chooses to rule New Bordeaux with his underbosses, He then expands his criminal empire across New Bordeaux, as well as across the southern United States, and becomes a well-known philanthropist and as well as a criminal mastermind. Despite being real good with his money, Lincoln also given to the fact that everything that he did made him money, including drugs. And the one thing that would be very not so beneficial to Lincoln's life is that he would lose the relationship that he had with Father James, who would often despise Lincoln for what he has become. Basically heading back to what I said before, becoming another Sal Marcano instead of being the first Lincoln Clay. And the last option would be if Lincoln leaves New Bordeaux, he effectively disappears from the public life, only occasionally sending postcards to Father James from various parts of the world. The underboss who was given the most districts by Lincoln will then seize control of the city, though only our former protagonist of the previous game, Vito Scaletta, will be able to rule New Bordeaux successfully by himself. And whatever happens to Cassandra or Tom, why I say Tom? I meant to say Thomas. Whatever happens to them, they both either disappear from the public life or they both end up dead, depending on the options. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But Lincoln Clay overall is really one of my favorite protagonists because he's actually somebody who's against the mob. But it also does go to show you how much the mob can have an influence on you even while you're taking down the mob. And it goes to show you that you could be no different from the person you're trying to kill or seek revenge upon. But overall, Mafia 3 is to me one of the best video games that's ever been made. And if you never played it before or seen the story mode for it, make sure you go look it up online. And like I said before, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and share and comment, because if not, we're gonna have a serious problem. Yeah, it's gonna be a real serious problem. I'm gonna call Weebay, I'm gonna call Omar, I'm gonna call Bodie, Brother Mozone. I'm gonna call everybody if you do not subscribe to my channel. But it's okay. We're not trying to seek violence, especially upon it being Saturday before Sunday. We're not trying to seek violence on the day before Sunday. Maybe on a Friday or Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But anything in the weekend, we're trying to keep it peaceful. But if you guys been watching and tuning in, thank you for watching and tuning in. And there's going to be some more videos on the way, so keep a lookout for that. And until then, take care, and your boy VON is out. Peace.
Come, bitch, biatch!